Hey everyone, live back again at the TAG Active Cyber Defense Challenge here at the 12 Hotel in Atlantic Station in beautiful, rainy Atlanta. I think, Julie, we live in Seattle.
Apparently we do.
It has been nonstop raining here for like the last 3 days.
Yeah, I feel like fall showed up and winter was in the back seat. They just rode together.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Only fall just gave us about a week of teasing, and then
it.
just Mama Winter came in and was like, all right, folks, bundle up.
Get ready for snow.
we, all right, as someone who grew up in Colorado, when you say snow, right?
Are we going to go there?
And we get
Are we
like
gonna
2
go
inches
there?
of snow here. We
Yeah.
get an inch of snow here. We get a dusting. They shut
We're gonna do
everything
this?
down.
Yeah. And we know it's true, right? Snowpocalypse. We're
Yeah.
still shaking, right?
People are like, you can't remember that day. It took me 7 hours to get home. How much snow was on the roads?
13 right here. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I think the longest it's ever taken me in Colorado to get home from work was 8 hours, and that was during a blizzard, which was a state emergency
real
that the
blizzard.
governor declared it as a state of emergency. We were getting about 8 inches of snow an hour.
Unreal.
So when I left work at 1 p.m., we had about 7 inches on the ground. I got home, I couldn't drive into my subdivision, so I left my car in the middle of the street
Unbelievable.
and walked in like snow up
Yeah.
to my thighs
yeah.
to my
That's
house.
Colorado.
That's Colorado.
That's not going to happen here.
But
in
there were
Atlanta.
still cars.
But we
on the road.
imagine that. We imagine that very scene when there's a flake here. Flurries
Yeah.
lead to that kind of reaction. That's what we're seeing in our heads. We're pretty sure that's what's happening to us.
Yes, it is.
That's Atlanta.
So, Julie, Chief Experience Officer with TAG.
That's me.
If you guys are watching, listening, fans of the show, I spoke to Larry a few weeks ago, I think last month when we
Hey.
during Cyber Awareness Month, and we were talking about TAG's role. And a month later, lo and behold, here's TAG doing some amazing cyber stuff in Atlanta. So,
Yeah.
Julie, you're Chief Experience Officer. Tell us about your role for TAG.
Yeah, well, delivering great experiences would be top of the list. And cyber is one of those sectors and spaces and subject matters that matter so much to our technology ecosystem right now that it would be ridiculous for TAG not to stand up really great experiences around that, right? It's really important right now. It's important to all the technology leaders. It's important to the CISOs. It's important to the companies here. It's important to our privacy. It's important to all the folks that we've seen have these incidences and breaches that have caused them a lot of trouble and heartache. I'm sure we can all think of, a couple of top ones right here in Atlanta and the trouble that comes when something like that happens. So TAG, it's our mission to fuel the innovation economy, and part of that comes with standing up great events like this.
Any sort of incident, cyber event, has an impact on our entire ecosystem in Atlanta. You're talking about jobs, changes, a workforce that is very unmotivated sometimes, very stressed out. That tends to impact the whole ecosystem. I think TAG sees that more than maybe any other organization in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, and I think our membership responds, right? So those folks who are members of TAG and involved in our 27 societies, one of which is an information security society, look to us to stand up the kinds of events that you see here today. This is exciting. The lineup here is incredible today, and we're really honored to have these folks join us. And TAG responds to its community by making sure that the leaders that they need to hear from, the exercises they need to go through to be prepared, the kinds of panels they need to listen to, and the kinds of hands-on activities that they should be able to have access to, that TAG's a part of making sure that happens, right? That's our job. That's what we do.
And so today we're at the Active Cyber Defense Challenge, which is going to be led by Jeff. And you guys have all, if you're fans of Cyber Hub Engage, you've all seen Jeff's face and voice way too many times. But there'll be more coming tomorrow.
Excellent.
So Jeff's leading this with Steve Pugh, who is who works for, who's the CISO for Ionic Security, a big Atlanta company here. Do some really innovative stuff in security. They're not our sponsor, so I'm promoting them because I really do believe that they address a different part of cyber. But he also works in the White House part-time, and so he travels with POTUS quite frequently. He has a great input. And going on right now, as you know, we're sitting outside here talking to you folks, but inside we've got Suzanne Kelly, General Frost, and Steve Pugh with Franklin Donahue, our previous guest, talking about the challenge and the private-public partnership that's so desperately needed. What brought TAG to kind of put together this sort of event here in Atlanta? I mean, we're a month after Cyber Awareness Month, so people are kind of, I want to say, cybered out, but you guys took this challenge on, and the turnout here is amazing. Venue's great. I mean, you guys should see the food spread right next to us. It's
making
really
me tempting.
Hungry. Yes.
There it is.
Still on keto. Don't
You're
look
doing
there.
great. Keep it up, man. Don't lose track now.
I just want a cookie. Have you seen those cookies?
No, focus on cyber. I think one of the great privileges TAG has is a partnership with the National Technology Security Council as he brings over the brownies,
He
my
brings
weakness.
over the brownies
Bye.
with strawberries. At least get me a strawberry, man. Can have one of those.
You can. So the National Technology Security Coalition, Patrick Gall leads that. He's inside today. TAG is just greatly fortunate to be partnered with that organization. Our president, Larry Williams, is the president of NTSC.
Right.
And NTSC is the exclusive organization in our country whose mission is to provide a voice for the CISO at the federal level. And that's a rarity. So it's something spectacular that TAG has had the privilege to develop, is this relationship with NTSC to be able to stand up this organization. And that's part of what we do related to cyber, right? So we have the national voice of the CISO represented at the federal level. And then, of course, TAG has had an Information Security Society for quite some time because we recognize that this is an important topic. And so we've decided here in the last, let's say, year and a half to begin to do more around this topic. Clearly, this is going to continue to be a hot issue for our companies and our members. And so we decided to get creative. And one of the things we've really tried to do is to hone in on exclusive and sort of more intimate settings rather than sort of you can find wonderful conferences, Cyber Hub Academy and lots of the folks who do great conferences all over the country provide that kind of level of expertise and learning that many folks want. And TAG is grateful to be partners with those folks when these things come into town. One of the things we want to do is sort of more intimate settings, like you see here today, where folks can come and listen to some of the nation's preeminent leaders in cyber warfare and have a hands-on experience, right? So today they're not just sitting and listening, which is a great thing, but they're also going to be engaged in a hands-on activity, an exercise that will help them walk away today being prepared, right? That's the kicker.
Right. And it's a great little exercise because for those of you who've never been part of a tabletop, if you've never done it, if you've never walked into one, you don't quite understand how you can walk and do it well.
Right.
You don't think about specific things, but there are implications during a cyber event that just transforms the way a company operates. And I'm not just talking about the PR or the bad rep or the people who may lose their jobs. I'm talking about how it works with government, third-party vendors, and so many others who don't really comprehend that. And TAG has Georgia. I've talked about the Georgia ecosystem, I think, with Larry, with Pat, with Randall from the Georgia Department of Economic Development. But you just gave some great numbers out there. Would you mind sharing some of those with some of our listeners?
I would love to. And that's another reason why you see TAG in this space, is that this is important not only to the tech ecosystem, but as it turns out, Georgia is a national leader in cyber cluster, right? So we are a national cyber cluster. There's a couple of factors that go into becoming a cybersecurity cluster, and that's tends to be, and I'm cribbing these notes from Patrick Gall, who was kind enough to give these to me. So if I sound like an expert, it's only because Patrick has helped me sound this way.
Shout out to Pat.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. So a couple of the factors that would go into a national cluster, a state that should be nationally recognized for its cyber presence and activities. And that would be sort of proximity to government cybersecurity functions, the ability to attract or develop a workforce, the presence of research centers, strong industry leadership, social and business networks, relevant industries and sectors, and government policies. So Georgia has all of that and some. So get ready, because here's some of the really cool stats that I didn't realize about this state.
You're so excited about it. I
I'm
love
really
it.
excited. So, I mean, if you think, folks think about Georgia, and I'm sure, our technology industry always shines, but I don't think people are aware that we are legitimately a national cyber cluster, cybersecurity cluster, and here's why. So if you think about it, we rank top 5 nationally in cyber revenue. That's a big deal. We also one of the top 8 states for cyber job openings. There are 85 four-year colleges and universities, including 2 of the top 10 research universities right here in the state of Georgia.
Well, right here in the city of Atlanta.
Right here in the city of Atlanta.
I mean, we could throw a rock at both of them.
There it is right over there.
Yeah.
Both of them. 8 nationally recognized cyber programs at universities and colleges across the state. 8 of the top 10 U.S. defense contractors maintain a presence right here in Georgia. There are 9 military installations in this state, and we are the home to the U.S. Army Cyber Command, the U.S. Army Cyber Center of Excellence, Cyber Resources Team, and the Army Advanced Cyber Warfare School. If you have not been to Augusta, you are missing out right here in this
Pat
state.
and I were in Augusta last week.
How was that?
It
'Cause I haven't
was
been.
so I've been there so many times, but every time I go, it gets every time is different, right? So,
Right.
Being on base is completely it's out of this world. But just seeing how Augusta, which is best known for its masters, right? I
Right.
mean, when you think of Augusta, Georgia,
Golf.
the last thing you think of the last thing you think about is cyber, right?
Right.
You think golf.
I think Starbucks because I'm on my way to Charleston to see my family. There's a Starbucks. Cool.
I think we visited the same Starbucks. I needed one when I was leaving.
Right.
Because Micah, I was talking to Micah on the phone, and I was like, Micah, I need to stop and get some moon cheese and Starbucks.
The moon cheese is excellent.
The moon cheese is
Right?
good,
We're not
especially
kidding
when you're
around.
on keto. It's
But that's what you were thinking when you were in Augusta.
yeah. I
And
mean,
yet, right over your shoulder.
golf. Right over your shoulder, you've got 2 new buildings coming downtown
Right.
that are the Cyber Center for Excellence, named after our soon departed Governor Nathan Deal. You have a few other facilities there that some are advertised, others are not, and so we'll leave it that way. Augusta University, which is now doing amazing things in research, and all this is coming off of a 2-hour drive from the city of Atlanta. Not even 2 hours. I mean, this is Georgia, and the speed limit here is pretty high. So I tell people, nothing here takes in Colorado, speed limit on the highway. Like when I'm driving to Fort Carson from Denver,
Oh, yeah, or just remember that. What's it like, 75 minimum?
it's 55.
Okay, I was.
And
speeding.
then in Colorado, and then it gets to about 65 in parts as you're heading down to Air Force Academy. Here it's 75 the whole way.
Yeah, Europe's got the Autobahn. We've got 85.
Yeah. Well, we've
And
got
20.
and 20.
Which
20 is
goes
like
to
75 the whole way.
Right.
75, like it's the Autobahn of Georgia, and it's a beautiful little highway. I mean, it's just flat. and
It's
just-
outstanding. And I think that to note that, you can head up I-20 and be at these facilities where everybody from around the world is watching, participating, developing research, right here in our state. That's a huge benefit to our technology ecosystem.
And TAG has a presence in Augusta, right? You guys have a TAG
We
Augusta.
have a chapter. That's
yeah,
correct.
So TAG, if you're not familiar, and I'm gonna do the pitch for
Oh,
you here real
good.
quick. So
Let's see how you do.
let's see how well I do. So, as a technology association, TAG has 35,000 members. I have my notes from Larry.
Excellent.
Listen to that. So,
Very good.
27 societies, offices and chapters in I think Columbus, Alpharetta, City of Atlanta, Augusta, and I'm forgetting one
Middle
more.
Georgia.
Where?
Middle Georgia. Megan.
And Savannah.
And Columbus and Savannah.
And
That's
Columbus
right.
and Savannah. So
And you mentioned Alpharetta. That's our new TAG North Metro office. So we have
Right.
our headquarters in Midtown, and we have a TAG North Metro office. And we're going to be doing a really cool cyber event with you in January. We're
Right.
really excited about.
healthcare week of the Super Bowl. So if you're flying into town to catch the Super Bowl, make sure you get here on Monday so you can be with us Tuesday in Alpharetta. And you can Airbnb at my place. I'm renting it out for $200 a night at a room. And that doesn't include breakfast, which is an additional $45. But you get to stay at my house.
I'm assuming it's nice.
It's my house.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
you know, I mean, it's Super Bowl week here. It's like Augusta at the Masters. You rent your house for like 20 grand a week.
Who knew? Well, and what I love about the event that we're going to do with you in January is that it's singularly focused on health. And I don't think I realized that that's something that TAG could offer, right? We could do it not just here is a cyber exercise you can go through today with preeminent national experts who can teach you how to be prepared for a cyber breach or a cyber incident, but we could also divide it into all the sectors across our technology ecosystem. So we're going to do health in January, and I'm sure we have many more to come.
When you look at the healthcare industry, just from a cyber standpoint, Julie, healthcare is the number one target for hackers on the dark web.
Wow.
They pay,
Wow.
and they're vulnerable.
Right.
And so, one of the reasons we all picked healthcare was because Georgia is not only the cyber capital, we're also Transaction Alley. We're the fintech capital of the country. More transactions go through Atlanta than anywhere else in the country, and it's not by a small margin.
That's
We're a 73 to 78% dominant in that category. Cyber, fintech, healthcare. I mean, the education, R&D, defense.
Yeah, and you name it. We've got supply
Cars.
chain, absolutely. All of
I
this
mean,
is
UPS
logistics.
is headquartered here. Mercedes,
Manufacturing.
Kia, Hyundai, they all build their cars in the state of Georgia on the border with Alabama. And so Georgia's not just a southern state, I like to call it. I go, Georgia is the gateway to business in the United States,
That's
period.
right. With our international airport, it's hard to avoid
100
Atlanta,
yeah,
right? It's a good thing.
Yeah, it's not only hard, but I mean, I think Atlanta Airport does about 125 million passengers.
They are
that
still
pass
the
through.
busiest airport in the world.
And number two is about at 100. So we're not
Right.
talking about again, a small margin. That is a 25 million person lead. That is no small feat to beat. Istanbul's vying for it, but I don't think they're going to take it.
Good luck there, Istanbul.
Good
It's
luck,
going to be
Istanbul.
tough. I thought we were in China, but okay, yeah.
It's, I think the number two airport is Beijing.
I thought so. Yeah.
But
Going back and
mean-
forth. And it's interesting because, you think about that in relation to, I'm certain that there are many of our experts here in our technology ecosystem that are focusing on airport and all the flight,
Right.
security and things like that as well. So again, this spans across all industries.
The FAA is headquartered. Part of their headquarters is right here
Exactly.
in the state of Georgia,
Exactly.
just outside of Hartsfield-Jackson. They have a nice little building there and a really cool range, by the way. They have a very cool cyber activity there.
Well, and that's something too that I should tease that TAG's examining is our ability to stand up a cyber range. Something that we could do in the future as we continue to look to 2019 for the kinds of cyber events that we're going to stand up. That's one of the things that we're considering, as well as doing events with you, like the one we're going to do in
Right.
January around health. We have this fantastic event here today. I cannot believe Patrick managed to pull off the kind of lineup
And
that's in the room
and
today.
in such a short period of time.
Right.
In November,
In November.
after the busiest month of the year for Chief Information Security Officers. Yes.
And yet still did it. And I think that's because there are so many people that care deeply about this issue, want to be prepared, need access to this kind of training,
Right.
and that's what TAG is here for. So we intend to ramp up our efforts around cyber in 2019, do more than you've seen us here do in 2018, which has been impressive already. I think we're looking at an event probably in June of next year, so stay tuned for details on that. But I'm loving funneling this through our 27 professional societies,
Right.
all of which touch industries that care about cyber.
Well,
So
if
so
you're a
much opportunity.
CFO, you care about cyber. If you're in healthcare, you care about cyber. If you're in manufacturing, you care about cyber. If you're in fintech, you care about cyber. If you're an executive, you care about cyber. And anyone who says they don't care about cyber is missing the big picture. It's like saying I don't care about roads.
Right. At this point, it really is that way. Yeah.
Exactly. So, Julie, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
We're live here at the 12 Hotel in Midtown Atlanta at Atlantic Station. And if you've never been to Atlantic Station, you got to check it out here. And if you're a fan of Atlanta United and the Falcons, there is a team store right outside this little venue here. And I may send Muncha to get us some team gear here. So
Some
next time
attire.
we come live, we can have United hats on because that's about the only winning team we're going to cheer for in Atlanta.
Goal!
Goal United, yeah. The bright light in a city that still doesn't forget the Super Bowl, right, Micah?
Yeah. It's a tough weekend for the Falcons. It's all right. Rise
It is.
up.
Rise up, nation. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back with Suzanne, Kelly, and a few others right after this.